from coming to Ekiti. Olujime, Lagos invite applications for appointments as judges. Government kill 2 farmers in Nasarawa. And Christian leaders endorse Obaseki. Yamu focuses on workers. Why the tears may come back. Richard Joseph at 75. We will renovate 952 schools before December, says Ogun. NHIS committed to COVID-19 fight. Oba Benin wants protection of core members. Lagos monitors mask, denies new exam dates. NACA DG seeks stakeholders collaboration in fight against HIV. Solomon advises teachers to embrace technology. Mental health as a multi-sectoral issue. Make yourself available for channels debate, APC tells Obaseki. Okay, and read up the details and find out the exact date for that. But moving on, I'm sure I will try my best possible to communicate the dates to you. Well, let's eat Nigeria and have it. Hospital unveils telemedicine platform. Alpha Gun Capital supports 10 teachers. Improved diet will boost immunity against infections. Nutritionist. COVID-19 sustaining concept of decent work. Federal government inaugurates 75 billion naira SMEs COVID-19 stimulus schemes. Discounts to pay for rejecting electricity, says NERC. Stock market rebound with 50 billion naira gain. National Assembly pledges allocation to youth development. NCAA moves to address difficulties on travel portal. An NPC casual staff petition National Assembly. Federal government raises panel for 10 billion naira transport palliative allocation. Manufacturer spends 67.38 billion naira on electricity self-generation. Flooding, Sokoto farmers to benefit from insurance scheme. NM says Niger Delta government oil firm cheating communities. Africa's biggest bank to resume dividends payments. Rehabilitate 30 megawatt power distribution plant. Borno urges NDPHC. Inflation, bakers move to raise bread prices. Naira produce exchanges for 440 naira per dollar. Total Nigeria targets 76 billion naira revenue in fourth quarter, beg your pardon. And Malabo, federal government lawyer lied against me in Italy, says Aduke. Forex ban on food, man warns of rising inflation, faults federal government on food sufficiency. Ghana wanted to work for God, be a changed man before he was killed. This is coming from the widow. Resident doctors suspend strike, federal government to pay 8.9 billion naira allowances. Yahaya order suspension of 135 workers for absenteeism. PDP knocks Buhari over go on the offensive order. British court orders PNID to pay 1.5 million naira costs in Nigeria AGF office. 100 doctors among 1,279 ghost workers uncovered in Bauchi ministry. 1 killed as Ondo APC and Deputy Governor Party supporters clash. Police arrest 18 protesters and journalists in Lagos. One North, ACF membership knocked by force, Arewa tells North Central Group. Police cannot establish fraud, says defendants in Egbebe's trial. Ondo Monarch berates Olukare for downgrading late king. 1 killed, 3 escape as gunmen attack Plateau farmers. Niger fires 80 civil servants, alleges salary fraud. And finally, on Punch, Ogoni cleanup, increased work pace. Senate tells High Prep. Alright, there you have it in the Punch newspaper this morning. Away from that, let's check out the Vanguard newspaper. Bakati local government chairman to federal government. Return our oil wells or settle us properly. Capacity building, NAF graduates 29 new pilots. Sakura dealer jail 3 years for 21 million naira fraud. Upsurge in food prices, threats to nation's food security, says presidency. National Assembly will prioritize allocation of resources for youth development, says Lawan. OPL 245, Malabu Oil, others breached money laundering law, says witness. And INEC office on fire. This broke out yesterday. And moving on, Executive Legislative Party Consultative Forum kicks off meeting. Doctor strike. Enough is enough. Ekiti PDP faction adopts Governor Makinde as party Southwest leader. Alleged unauthorized campaign. Ekiti Assembly reinstates suspended local government chairman. Edo Osun election. INEC to deploy 3,000 thermometers, says Yakubu. No life lost as fire got 5,000 card readers in Ondo INEC office. And moving on, Constitution Review Committee gives 2-week extension for submission of memoranda. I'll continue to play my roles in party's interest. Makinde replies Fayose. Fayose lacks moral rights to criticize Makinde. Ogun factional PDP. After Total, Njoko asks court to compel INEC to recognize him as chairman. And moving on, Ilalos PDP primary. Court refuses Ndubeza's application on urgent action. And Edo 2020, APC and 5 others signed peace accord. Group preaches sportsmanship. It's exactly 1 week to the Edo state elections. It's 8 days from now. And moving on, BAT Project 23 urges Tinubu to contest 2023 presidency. Zamfara APC crisis, Marafa's faction disowns him, says he's deadly spoiler. Edo 2020, Aurora community supports Obaseki re-election. Stekler of Southwest States party structure. I'll take that headline again. Stekler of Southwest States party structure. Fayose warns Makinde. And some business, federal government revenue falls 32% to 625.9 billion naira in May. Agony as cost of flour, sugar, electricity threatens $621 million bread industry. Buhari's administration, true friend of MSMEs, private sector. Notab boasts touts investments in research and development for growth. Eberechi is a headlines championship team of the year. Stick around, Sports Crew will be here in less than 15 minutes to keep you updated with what's happening in the world of sports. And moving on, a little bit of more sports. Ronaldo, I have nothing to prove after scoring 101 goals. Moving on, Edo Benin says anyone looking to cause violence will not see election day. Okay, and moving on, unknown gunmen kill 2 farmers in Nasarawa. Subsidy, why federal government should account for crude sales from May 2016 to August 2020 coming from JAF. Alright, and moving on, that's a joint action front as the full meaning of JAF. Committee to review 2018-2020 NBA elections divide lawyers. Dina Melaye is not a fool. Fighting COVID-19 in Africa. School reopening. We are still evaluating, says federal government. Hypertension, cancer, HIV kill 600,000 Nigerians annually. NCD Alliance. COVID-19, 10% of positive cases in Nigeria are children. This is according to the health minister. Resident doctors in Zamfara issue 1-week strike notice. Okay. And moving on, Bayelsa government pledges to upgrade health facilities and others. Security operative bust kidnap gang in Delta and arrest 2. Bandits abduct Zamfara treasurer's 3 children and kill neighbor. And finally on Vanguard, NSCDC arrests man over alleged murder of 17-month-old stepson. Alright, check out the details of all of those headlines on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And then we move over to the Daily Times this morning to check out some of the headlines that it has for us. And the first one here says, Fayose is a dreamer, must accept Makinde and PDP. Must accept Makinde, PDP replies. Fire got INEC office in Ondo, over 5,000 card reader destroyed. Deregulation, government can continue to subsidize pockets of some rich Nigerians. Petroleum Minister Ize-Iyamu to prioritize healthcare in Edo. Kwara Stadium to be named after Rashidi Yekini. Temi Otedola makes acting debut at an entertainment. Kaduna wearing parties agree to cease fire at NCPC summit. Wire conducts exams in Chibok schools after 60 years. Outrage over alleged violation of rights in crackdown on protest. We have recorded notable achievement in 5 years. Buhari boasts. There's an editorial here. Is UCH Ibadan now a killing field? Check it out. PDP, APC, Buhari's government is a colossal failure. Secondus is saying federal government gives update on reopening of school. Imo North Senatorial District candidate has no certificate to contest election. Rights group. Fire raises Beroid spot after weeks of horrific explosion. Federal government to pay doctors additional 8.9 billion naira for June COVID-19 hazard allowance. Medical doctors flee Kogi State over non-payment of salary. Where did they go to? Moving on, police rescue 5 abducted victims in FCT community. Nigerian records another victory as UK court finds PNID 1.5 million. Trail of promising vaccine suspended by Oxford over adverse reaction. New test kit for HIV approved, says federal government short news. Children in Burkina Faso face unprecedented nutrition crisis. China's spacecraft returns to Earth after 2-day mystery mission. NSE trains operators on derivatives trading. Nigeria's public debt hits 31 trillion naira, says DMO. We cannot suddenly decide to behave like them. Club mocks Chelsea's transfer bash. And sports. EPL, 2 Chelsea players to miss season's first game. Avengers Game of Thrones star Diana Rigg is dead. News broke out yesterday. And moving on, finally, failed hate campaign against Daniel Olukoya. And that's it on Daily Times. Finally, or no, let's check out the Premium Times this morning to see some of the headlines that it has for us. And the first one here says, Nigeria records 5 new coronavirus deaths. Transport Ministry plans 10 billion naira palliative for NURTW members and others. And National Union of Road Transport Workers, by the way. And moving on, Constitution Review Memoranda submissions now end September 25th, says Senate. Police arrest notorious kidnapper in Katsina. Man caught with 2,886 ATM cards at Lagos Airport. Like 2,886 ATM cards. Please, guys, keep your cards safe. 13-year-olds jailed for blasphemy in Kano appeals judgments. The case is still ongoing. Buhari restates directive to CBN not to support food and fertilizer importation. Pantami advocates support for indigenous technology. On that 2020, fire got INEC head office in Akure. Transfer window, all the done deals for Nigerian players. Justin, Nigerian doctors calls of strike. How Nigerian police attacked arrested journalists for covering protests. Ex-Nigerian Scrabble captain killed by kidnappers. COVID-19, 9.7 million children not returning to school this year, according to a survey. Why I supported additional election as African Development Bank, says Buhari. Gombe to conduct local government election in December. World Suicide Prevention Day, how the media can help prevent suicide. This was yesterday. Moving on, Jigawa APC crisis, party chair rejects suspension. And Justin, 2 lawmakers loyal to embattled under deputy governor locked out of House of Assembly. Group demands unconditional release of arrested protesters, journalists in Lagos. Price of bread set to increase as bakers lament high cost of ingredients. COVID-19 companies profits soar as poorest pay price Oxfam report. Up to 95% of world population still at risk of COVID-19, EU Commission. Police confirm Abuja abductions. Africa launches lab to understand COVID-19. IMSU suspends lecturers involved in alleged sex for grade scandal. Is that the HOD of biochemistry? We saw a viral video yesterday. Alright, check out the headline, the details of the headlines, by the way. And moving on, 47,000 candidates battle for 2,000 Amoteku jobs in Oyo, says official. Lagos protest, police arrest premium time journalists and others. 2023 Jigawa APC crisis deepens, state party chair removed. It's happening in Jigawa and also. And in the rush of COVID-19 vaccine candidates, researchers bet on global vaccine. Gunmen attack Abuja community, abduct residents. US Open, it is the battle of the Mons in the semi-final at Flushing Meadows. Stick around and get the details of what happened or what went down in the US Open yesterday. And moving on, man allegedly kills stepson to gain wife's attention. Court sentences trader to 2 years imprisonment for stealing carrots. Okay. Court sentences trader for 2 years to 2 years imprisonment for stealing carrots. Check out the details. That's why it's good to always check out the details. What it's saying here, gave the convict an option to pay a fine of 20,000 naira. So that's why, sometimes headlines don't always say it all about a particular news. check the details and get the proper news. Moving on, FRC promotes 79 senior officers. Edo 2020, Bush has endorsed Obaseki for second term. Nigeria's public debt rises to 31 trillion naira. 15 Nigerian women trafficked to Lebanon return to Oshun. Nigeria's striking doctors reach truce with government, may return to work today. How to hold elections safely and uphold democracy during COVID-19 pandemic. And finally, COVID-19, police recovered diverted Benue palliatives in Kano. Official. Wow. Police recovered diverted Benue palliatives in Kano. It's coming from an official. Alright, thank you so much guys for listening. This is exactly where we draw the curtains on today's edition of the KU Newspaper Review. Get all the details of the headlines you heard me read from The Punch, Vanguard, Daily Times and Premium Times this morning, and check out other dailies for other headlines. Remember, you can send in your contributions via text and WhatsApp, and also remember, affix your name and your location. Our WhatsApp number is 0812-178-9154, or our text line is 0807-400-9076. Coming up in a moment is Sports Fiesta. I am God's Orlando, saying thanks for listening and good morning.
Turn us up. 92.7.
Our MOU governor don't bring another Oyoyo project come. This time our correct governor, Godwin Moegase Obaseki, don't join hand with other people when sabi work, and them don't bring Edo refinery come for our state. With the same MOU when Oyibo they call Memorandum of Understanding, Edo state government don't do Edo refinery reach 80%, and the project don't already they provide job for plenty of our people. With the same MOU when some people they talk say na audio